Welcome to the Bad Movie Night podcast, covering the worst movies you've never seen. We hope you enjoy listening to Bad Movie Night podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bad Movie Night Podcast. My name is Chris, and tonight we've checked out the 1987 horror movie, Blood Harvest.
Blood Harvest.
Alright, we've had an interesting show here tonight. Blood Harvest was a Patreon recommendation. We're just going to put that up there up front. Not an Ian recommendation, so we can't hold anything against him in a court of law for this episode yet. But there'll be plenty of things.
I still don't know why I had the 9-month ban for that stupid Freemasons in the Utah desert movie. That was not my pick.
You know what you did, Ian. You know what you did.
Yeah, I know. We said we wouldn't talk about it again. I'm sorry.
No, you were not. You
look, for the most part, you're fine. It's just that whole diatribe about your penis enlargement surgery. It kept going on and on and on.
Yeah, that's the problem. It kept going on and on and on. So,
I know.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that that whole surgery got botched. Might never be the same
it's
again.
A freak show down there.
It's amazing how it just fell off into the toilet and got flushed down. Like,
Somebody's got to feed the sewer alligators.
Do you guys ever? Actually, never mind. I'm not going to go there. Let's move on.
I want to know what was too far after that conversation.
Yeah. I was going to talk about stuff falling. Never mind. We're just going to move on. You may, if you were a visual listener,
did your meatball fall out of your pants and roll down the?
I had a vasectomy.
Okay.
I've talked in depth about that. I even made a whole video about it. But you may notice tonight, if you're a visual listener, which makes no sense, but you know what I mean. If you're here for the live show, there is no Spiv. There is no AJ. There is no Lindsay.
I don't know why anybody's tuning in.
Let's recap. Spiv is old and forgot what year it is.
Spiv is back from his 12-month-long vacation in the Himalayas or whatever. But he's like, when are we doing the podcast? I thought I'd wait till the 5 minutes before the show goes live to ask. Because that's typical. Oh, silly me. Yeah, okay. And then Lindsay, she's on vacation. AJ's in prison. And who knows if he's getting out.
Yeah.
I told you, Chris, stop calling Harrisburg prison.
No, he's filming at a prison.
Dude, Ian, a prison is a step up from Harrisburg. That place
really.
Is god-awful. Right.
There's some nice parts of Harrisburg.
No, I know. It's a running joke. There's not, but it's a running joke.
AJ's the nice part.
We are back, though, fulfilling
nice
Patreon requests with the Blood Harvest. Does anyone know who recommended Blood Harvest, wanted it on the wheel?
Oh, it's a Patreon request?
Sean knows.
Yeah, of course Sean knows.
I'll look it up.
That was a question. I'm going to start. No, Aaron, don't waste your time. Aaron, stop searching the Slack, hacking the databases. When I say stuff like that, it is not intended. It is not intended for, just clearing this up, not intended for anyone on the show. It's only intended for Sean. Okay?
It's a Seantorical question.
It's a Seantorical question.
I'm going to call him Seantorical from now on. I like that.
He's a Seantorical.
Seantorical.
Blood Harvest, 1987. Is anybody able and willing to give a premise hole for this movie?
I watched this movie like 30 hours ago. There's zero chance I'm going to remember enough of it to...
A girl returns home from school. Her parents missing.
Who did this?
But luckily,
Lisa.
her old friend Gary is there to help.
I'm Gary calling the ladies out there.
With his clown brother, what was his name?
Tiny Tom Timerson.
With a knife.
Is Gary really what he seems?
A creepy, dirty motherfucker? Yes.
Yeah.
Rated R for stupid clowns.
Oh, some more. Rated R.
Ian, you have a vendetta against clowns, though. You have a personal vendetta against clowns.
Do I?
Yeah.
What's your deal with clowns, Ian?
I'm over the creepy clown thing.
You
It's
lost the
bullshit.
award to a clown.
Bullshit. Oh, yeah. I was wondering where you were going with this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To be
4
fair,
years
no,
ago,
hold on.
this-
A homophobic clown. Let's clear that up.
Yeah,
He's a
he was-
homophobic clown.
Ian, he was more than homophobic. He was a pedophile too, it sounded like.
No, he was portraying a pedophile, but he's definitely a homophobe.
He's definitely homophobic.
In
based
real
on-
life, he's a
okay.
homophobe.
Yeah, which he was a piece of shit. Just all around, it seemed like. And,
Definite piece of shit.
You lost to him. And it stings.
Yeah.
It still stings to this day, just like
It does.
yesterday.
It does.
But it's okay. We're going to move on from that.
I also think horror movies about clowns are overrated. There, I said it. It's been done a million times. I'm over it.
There is one good horror movie about clowns.
What's that?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space is definitely good.
That's pretty fun.
I've been
pretty
meaning
fun.
to give that one a try because I've heard that's really good, but I've never seen it.
Put it on your
That's
birthday
the
wheel.
only good one that I haven't seen. The
Have
only
you
good
seen
one.
the It movies?
Yeah, they're
fine.
good, but clowns aren't what make them great.
I don't think anything makes them great.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't really
Well,
like
fair.
them. I love the book. Book's
Yeah.
amazing.
But even then,
But-
like, it's not like clowns aren't like if your takeaway
Dude,
was creepy
that-
clowns, like you missed the
it's
point.
So, that's
That
what
book-
people miss it. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
book is not amazing. That book has some good stuff in it, and then it ends
Yeah.
with like a child orgy or some shit.
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like,
this is really
why?
weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like,
yes, that
no,
part is a little bit much. Yes, I
no,
agree.
sir.
Never mind.
But
Up
you know,
until that point, it's great.
yeah, and it's also way longer than the Bible. It's like 3 million pages long.
Then don't
so
read The Stand because that's literally
Yeah.
14,000 pages.
I'm
Stands
not
great
quite-
though.
Pretty close. Yeah.
All right, Rebecca, thanks
Yeah.
for stepping up, doing the premise hole section.
I'm no AJ.
You're no AJ. You're way
Not that
better.
attitude.
And that's okay. But
You're not in prison.
luckily, Lindsay does nothing on the show. AJ's section is done. Spiv barely does anything. Anybody can cover for Spiv, but not anybody can cover for the history hole section.
No.
And that's what we're going to do now. So here we go. I don't sorry.
Yes.
I accidentally played the wrong one.
Is that the first time we've done that?
No, it was a one-off a long time ago.
Okay.
for
I
something
don't
stupid.
remember that. That's
It was
great.
really dumb.
I accidentally canceled it too. I'm sorry, Aaron.
No, it
was
was
getting
dumb
good.
anyways.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
You gotta play the
I mean,
regular one.
everything on the show is dumb. Like, we're past that.
I was loving that. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Do you want? No, we'll
No,
let it
it's
go.
super
Aaron
long.
was embarrassed.
That was
It's 20 seconds.
It's longer
You want?
than that.
Oh, hold on. I'll give you the real history hole bumper.
There we go.
I apologize. Here we
That's
go.
all right. Hello, Chris. We all
Shit.
down here.
That's really good, Aaron.
Thank you. Because shit lives forever. All right, it's Blood Harvest. This movie is from 1987. The release date supposedly is January 1st, 1987. Seems
Okay,
kind of unlikely to me, but it's a possibility, I guess. Could not find anything about a budget, etc. It was filmed in Wisconsin. It was later released on Blu-ray in October of 2018 as well.
This
Yeah.
needed a Blu-ray release for some reason.
Yeah, I guess so. Our director for this is Bill Rebane, who's done a bunch of other kind of similar movies like this. I think he has 15 total credits. He's done things like Twister's Revenge, The Alpha Incident, Monster A Go-Go, and The Capture of a Bigfoot. Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh. We'll get to
yeah.
it. We'll
Yeah, I
get
don't
to
know.
it. I don't want to
Yeah.
speak too much about him.
I agree. So this movie also had other writers involved. We had Chris Valar, William Arthur, and Ben Benson.
One of the
For the most-
Valar.
For the most part, they've all kind of worked together with this Bill guy on movies, so they have a lot of similar credits. Nothing really outside of that I could find that was really worth talking about. Our movie music, if you can call it that, was by George Daughtry.
That was awful.
Oh, the guy who
Doughty.
won American Idol the one year?
No.
What is that Daughtry
Humphrey
song?
Jr.
I'm coming home.
Creed Jr.
I'm coming home. Yeah.
To the place where I belong. Something
He
like that,
still
right?
does shit. Like, I still see him. And it's just, how does somebody All right, never mind. Continue on. I'm not here to shit on somebody. We'll do that
Nah,
later.
it's all good.
Shit
Yeah.
on Spiv later and stuff. We'll get to it.
Apparently, we're going to be shitting on Aaron.
True.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't want it, don't sit in the toilet.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
Just
But-
because the toilet's lid is
Tiptoe through the
open doesn't
polyps.
mean, Ian, it's an invitation.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Oh, unlike
Fair
this
enough.
movie. Yeah. So George had 5 producer credits. He had 13 music department credits for things like Bugs Bunny's 51.5 anniversary spectacular,
51
Chariots of
and a
Fur,
half?
Another Froggy Evening. They're all
Oh.
kids movies. I don't get it.
I don't understand what the
Those part.
51.5 is about.
It's Bugs Bunny. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't really anybody else involved with this that I could find that was somebody that I recognized. Some of the special effects were
Wait,
pretty.
hold on.
What? Of course, other than Tiny Tim, but we
Well,
don't really
yeah.
talk about the actors.
Okay, we're not going to talk about Tiny Tim?
I mean, we could talk about Tiny Tim if you want.
Well, isn't he like the most interesting aspect of this movie?
I
What is
figured
the
we'd save
deal
that
with
for the
Tiny Tim?
conversation?
Okay.
What's the deal?
Fair enough, Aaron. Whatever.
Okay, so fine. I'll give you a little trivia then. Tiny Tim was making a personal appearance at a beer carnival in Lincoln County, Wisconsin in 1985. And local filmmaker Bill Rebane was in the audience. He had an idea for a horror film and decided to see if Tiny Tim was interested in appearing in it. He was, and this is the result. This movie was filmed in one day and one night.
Whoa.
What? Really?
That's impressive, actually.
That
This-
cannot be true.
This was filmed or just Tiny Tim scenes?
They're saying it was one day, one night in the trivia, and it
That
specifically
That
had
cannot
one
be true.
day
No
of filming
way.
listed. It was a specific day too, like April 26th or something like that.
No.
If that's true, that's actually massively impressive, but I don't
That-
believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't either. There's way too much going on for that to be likely.
The practical effects and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't go crazy on the practical
Ah.
effects.
No, but still, to do those prosthetics and stuff, it would take a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a runtime of 88 minutes. So this was released January 1st, like we said, 1987. Some other movies from that month were The Kindred.
I never saw that, but I do want to see that.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool. That was on our wheel. Was that on our wheel at one point? It was on the history hole. Critical Condition, which is a Richard Pryor movie.
Really?
Another one we wanted to talk about and wanted to see before is Wanted, Dead or Alive, starring Rucker Howard.
Won't it?
Dead
or
alive.
All right. Alan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold, which sounds like something Ian would recommend.
That sounds like Gwendolyn and the Trials of the Parallax or whatever that shit was called, but a lot less good. What was that
With
movie
less
called?
boobs.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn and the Tribulations of the
something,
Tribbles.
Yik-yaks, something, I don't know.
Ajax? What?
Yik-yaks. Wasn't it like
Yik-
yik?
Yik-yaks.
Is that right?
Knick-knack. Yik-yaks.
I don't know.
Patty
Paddywag gave a dog a
Give a
bone.
dog a bone.
Are you copying me?
Are you
I don't
copying?
know. I feel like Rebecca says things and then her video moves like 3 seconds later.
Okay, is that what it is? Okay.
I think so.
That's basically all I have for this week. There's not a whole lot to talk about specifically with the people in this movie.
You know what, Aaron? That's okay. I forgive you because you're my brother, but otherwise I would not.
I don't
All right.
forgive him.
I'm just going to flush this relationship down the drain.
That's fair enough. All right. Time to move on and talk about Blood Harvest. So here we go.
For only $2 a month.
Hey everyone, this is Chris. I'm just reminding you in the still of tonight to go to patreon.com/badmoonnightshow and sign up. For $2 a month, you get access to the exclusive bonus podcast pre-show, as well as other bonuses. That's patreon.com/badmovienightshow.
Okay, I definitely heard that you kicked on an AI voice, Aaron. So just do what you're going to do so we can move on with the show. Aaron, what did you think of Blood Harvest?
Well, Chris, I think I'm not a big fan of clown movies. And I think Tiny Tim is a creepy motherfucker. So I can't say that I particularly like this movie. But I know my friend Andy Dufresne sure did.
All right, Aaron, not a fan. Thank you. Thank you. Rebecca,
I'm sorry,
what did
it's
you
so
think?
addictive to you.
I know it is. I know it
So
is.
addictive.
I just that's why I just made that video today because I can't help myself. All right, Rebecca, what did you think?
I thought it was very predictable. Like, I knew Gary was the guy, spoiler alert, from like the jump. And it also just seemed weird to me how little she cared about her parents being missing, and then her friends are going missing, and she's just like,
She was easily distracted for sure.
It wasn't very realistic in what was happening.
So dreamy.
Okay. I don't want to have to pause the show to go on a rant, but we can just interject this now and then talk about it later during the listener feedback section. But Paul Lilienthal says that Harrisburg is much nicer than almost any other part of PA he's ever been to. What?
Whoa.
Depends on what part of PA you've been to.
Oh my! Well, if you've been into anything, Western PA, sure.
Yeah,
Like the whole middle section of PA. But oh my!
I understand Pottsville is a bit of a nightmare.
God. Yeah. But Jesus Christ!
I mean, it's not the
Okay.
banjo part of the PA, but yeah.
No. Ian, what did you think?
I have a problem with the movie's title from the jump. There's almost no blood harvesting. There is one isolated incident of blood harvesting. There's plenty of bloodletting,
Mhm.
but it's just letting it get soaked up in the hay. There's only one case of a blood harvest. That's bullshit for one. No, but mostly this is a very forgettable movie. Like, it's competent. There's not anything about it that was truly bad. We're not going to sit here and laugh about the bad acting because it was fine. I don't remember anything about the music. The filming, the audio was all pretty competent. And yet they kind of produced this thing that just has no heart, no soul. Just wasn't enough gore to be interesting. The acting, which there's nothing to it. And speaking of what Rebecca was talking about, character motivations just were lacking. Like, they understood how to put the story beats of a story together, but you didn't always really understand why the characters did them. They did it because the story needed to like twist, or it needed to zig and zag. Like, we need something to zig, but like, I don't know, just dumb things. Like when he strings up her best friend, he like tears her shirt off, right, and like gets her down to her underwear. Why the fuck did he bother?
Right.
Right? Like,
Well, we
either
can talk about that. We're going to talk about that in depth.
either you're a horny idiot and you just want to touch some boobs or whatever he wants to do, but that's not his motivation. That's not what he wants. He's not here for the naked ladies. You know what I mean? But also,
He's
like,
not here for that naked lady.
yeah, but even so, why get her naked or half naked? But then, like, which is fine. But like, if you're not interested, that's fine. Just don't rip her clothes off.
It's not a character motivation; it's a director motivation.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I was going to
Yes.
get at. Yes.
Yeah.
It's trying to put some tits and ass in the movie. It serves
Which is why we brought you here tonight.
fair enough.
Because you're an ass.
It served like I said. There's certain times a character would do something just because like, oh, we need to shift the momentum of the story, not because the character had any kind of real reason to do that. That's kind of what I was talking about. What did you think, Chris?
We're going to get all into all that, Ian, because I do have a lot to say about all that. But just my initial thoughts were, this was David Black.
Yeah. Well, he
Holy
originally
fuck.
chose Bubba Hotep, and then we all said that was too
Oh
good. So he's
my
like,
God.
okay, how about this? Which is fair.
Let's go
'cause
back to that.
This is bad.
I don't want to have to say it, but I think I'm going to say it.
David gets a ban.
No.
3-year fucking ban.
No.
This was
not that.
this was a montage of terrible scenes. I
Yeah.
fucking
Yes.
hated this movie in the
They were
worst
terrible.
way.
That's almost like I almost wish they were worse.
It's just, yeah, you're right. But it was like, we shot competently enough to understand what's going on. And it's just, let's talk about awful stuff for a while. Let's just fill the movie with molestation. And it's so gross. This movie is so gross in that way. This lead character has no agency. She's constantly being taken advantage of. I hated it. What person? Why is Tiny Tim popular? Who wants to listen to that singing? I hated it. I hated it so much.
Well, it was the 60s.
Yeah, I don't care. People in the 60s are awful.
And it was supposed to be weird. So think of it as like something out of the norm in the 60s.
Oh.
That's what made it interesting to people, right? It was so different.
It was different, and it was like Dr. Demento, if you've ever listened to.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just say that whatever is happening there
song,
is not for me. And they like take these moments to let him sing, which I'm like, oh, here we fucking go again. Then they have these moments where they let him act, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. And then I'm like, why is he in this fucking movie?
And the worst part is he's not the worst character in the movie.
Right.
He's not.
That's the bad part. He's actually he's just mentally disturbed, but he doesn't do horrible things to people.
It's supposed to be the thing that you're supposed to assume he's the killer and he's the awful one.
He's the bad guy.
But it's way too obvious right from the get-go. It is way too obvious. Rebecca said.
I wonder if would it have been less obvious in 1980, whatever year it was?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe
because we've seen the 17,000 things that have made fun of the fact that these type of
mid-80s slasher with a little bit different. Now, when this ended, Tubi popped up a movie we did last year, which was Hack-O-Lantern, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And this definitely had similar like feeling and production to that movie. But that was even more interesting than this. This is just a weird Tiny Tim clown and then some pervy.
So
asshole.
I think we need to talk about Tiny Tim a little bit because you guys are popping my Tiny Tim cherry with this movie. I've heard you guys talk about him. Oh, really?
That's all I know is that song.
Well, I swear you guys have seen like 2 or 3 of his movies because you guys always talk about Tiny Tim Timerson. No,
that's Tiny. No, that's
whoa!
Oh,
holy shit!
This is a different person.
Tiny Tim Thomerson. Oh my God! How dare you, sir? Okay. 3 are baddie, and this is why you get the bands. This is why you get them.
So who is Tiny Tim then?
He's this fucking guy from the 60s or 50s or something. Who had a
Paul's saying some shit about his wedding is the most viewed event in television history.
He had a song called "Tiptoe Through the Tulips," which had a resurgence when Insidious came out because it was used in that movie. It was really creepy.
So he's a musician primarily?
I don't know.
Yeah,
in the 60s,
it's like a ukulele.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
I still never heard of it
in the movie. You've heard that song though, right?
I don't think so.
Through the tulips.
Really? Chris, you got to play that then.
Wait, have you never seen Insidious?
I don't think so. What was that one?
Dude.
Maybe I have. I don't remember. I've seen all the movies.
It's James Wan.
Here, Chris,
I've seen a handful of James Wan movies.
Aaron's going to make us listen to fucking Tiptoe.
I'm not going to make you listen to it. Ian's got to hear it.
Do I?
It helps explain it.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to pull up Tiptoe Through the Tulips. It's going to get us copyright striked. We're not going to be able to.
Nobody watches this anyway.
That is 100% fair. Let's do that then.
Through the tulips with me. Oh, tiptoe from the garden, by the garden, of the willow tree.
No, I don't recall hearing that before.
Yeah, then you've never seen Insidious.
I mean, yeah.
It does sound like a 1920s like radio program type of thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't that old.
No.
Like, I get it sounds unique and interesting, but it's not good.
No, but it's an earworm. It'll stick in your head. It's not good. There's lots of songs that aren't good that'll get stuck in your head.
Well, sure. I mean,
But why do you need to be a clown in an 80s
But there's a difference
slasher?
between like a modern pop song that gets an earworm stuck in your head and it's like, okay, yeah, 12 guys made this with an AI.
Using
like,
an algorithm to determine which chord progression of the two chords they used.
That's one thing. But then like, there's nothing weird about that. It just sounds generic. This is like weird and unique, but it's not good. I don't think anyone would be like, man, I can't wait to go home and jam out, hit the gym up and listen to some motherfucker tiptoe through the motherfucking tulips. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe
Maybe it's
Totally
maybe it's time
cover.
maybe it's time for my remembrance to do a cover.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do a metal version of Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and then I'm back on board. But until then, Tiny Tim, no thank you, sir.
Struck
What?
me as like what would happen if Weird Al and Gallagher had a baby.
Kind
Dude,
of, yeah. There's
yeah.
a bit
This
of that.
guy looked
Part
like
of it was the
fat,
mannerisms.
fat Weird Al mixed with Alice Cooper for me. That's what I got out of this shit. Fat Weird Cooper is what he looked like. All right.
Fat Weird Cooper is my favorite type of Wisconsin cheese.
Oh man.
But if this movie was just like, I'm Jill and I'm home, and Tiny Tim Thomerson, not Tommy Tim
It's not
Thomerson.
Tim Thomerson.
Tiny Tim dressed as a creepy clown is like stalking people and murdering them in interesting and unique ways. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were
Jill and
like,
Gary go up the hill.
yeah, and like, you don't need the twist. I don't need the fucking twist because the twist.
Saw
or
it coming from
whatever
the
they
first scene Gary
Yeah,
was in.
It was like,
I mean
all right, let's
Spib, I
just-
mean Gary.
Let's get this over with because I see he's
Yeah.
like creeping in the windows and stuff.
I re-
Well, that was pretty late in the movie.
One of my
That was when
bullet
it was
points
insanely
is
obvious.
Gary is gross.
Yeah.
Aaron, I think you're the only one that noticed
Well-
my editing.
No, I noticed it. I wasn't acknowledging it.
It was funny.
Sure.
See, that's why this is why we're brothers.
Did you make the sound effects yourself, Chris?
No comment.
Was that Scream 27?
They were,
Yeah, I think
they were AI generated.
even more obvious than Gary being a little creepy but trying to be the good guy was just how innocent it was clear. Like not innocent of the crimes, but like
It was
innocent,
Spiv.
innocent in his
Like,
personality.
Innocent,
Well, I meant
but
the clown,
creepy.
Tiny Tim. Like he's so clearly like he's kind of weird and like he doesn't understand why looking in the window. Like that's creepy, but
he
like
almost seems sort of like maybe a little bit slow, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe-
Yeah.
Yeah, he had
yeah.
something.
and like
And-
every time they showed him around one of the victims early on, like he was doing something nice with him. He was bringing Jill's mom food, like,
Mhm.
and they were trying to imply by putting him
So,
next to the victim that he was the
Misguided,
killer.
maybe perhaps then.
Yeah.
Just a bit misguided. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had such an innocent personality in terms of like, yeah, it was just I don't know, it's
That's
too
why
obvious.
it's hard to even buy at all that he would have possibly been the killer.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
When they
it's
even
not,
try to make him does he know that his brother is that what he
he'd have to, right?
goes to like the
'Cause
church
he-
to pray and like
Unclear.
he seems very conflicting.
I don't think the director knows the answer to that question.
I don't think there is an
Yeah.
answer.
I think it was just to try and throw you off the trail of
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah.
I mean,
It's an
But
attempt to-
he has to at least know because he was with Jill's mom when she was tied up.
Oh
he
yeah,
was
he
with
was.
Jill's mom when she was tied up. So let's get into a little bit of like, what is the premise set up for this story?
Mhm.
Jill is our lead character.
She's back from college.
She's a college student returning home
And
to a
her-
small town.
Dad has been working with I don't know whether it's the banks or lawyers
Yeah.
to drive
He's the
people
banker.
out of their farm. So the townspeople are pissed at him.
Oh, I should have worn that. I have that
Yes,
orange jacket.
all the farms are getting shut down, auctioned off by the bank.
Yeah.
That's the
And
most
this guy
interesting
with two
part of the
front
movie.
teeth
Yeah.
is not happy.
Yeah, but
It's all a red
is-
herring, though.
That is an interesting part of like, okay, well, the father did some
It's
stuff that
Goonies.
upset the town, and when she comes back, there's a mystery. Where's my parents? I don't know what happened to them. That is like never brought up again, though.
No.
Occasionally, but
like
not.
she calls
yeah.
like have you seen him? No, you have. Oh, okay. All
she
right.
doesn't put much effort into it. Yeah.
There's a couple times she gets pretty concerned, but she's easily distracted.
She's easily distracted. There's like sequences in this movie where she like gets caught up in a random paintball match for some reason, and it's like offensively stupid of why this is in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then whether it's like a scene or two like that, and the rest of the time it's just like, how can we be as perverted as possible? Is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like everything is just gross angles, leering. They also have Julie, the lead character, playing a 15-year-old and a 35-year-old at the same time. and then
Yeah,
like even younger with like teddy bears and shit. It makes no sense.
It's the same as last week's movie with that girl. Like she had the teddy bear, like she was supposed to be older, but then they pulled in some younger stuff as well.
Well, when she is introduced into the movie, she's rocking like she's like, give me the 3-year-old haircut. Like she has like this weird like thing that I would put my like little toddlers in.
Are they trying to add like
I
some
put my hair up
innocence to
like
her
that
character,
sometimes.
Maybe?
What'd you say, Aaron?
I'm sorry. I just said, are they trying to maybe add some innocence to her character or make her seem younger than she is?
I don't know. I don't know if that was like in style back then, but like a
yeah,
lot
I
of the
think
hair.
that was just an 80s,
Like an 80s thing.
hair.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was a little kid at that point.
And I guess that's not like a fault of the filmmakers at the time, but now for me, it's like, all right, this is weird and gross. Cause like, this is like what a 3-year-old
I
does
think
to
you're
hair
reading
like,
way
and,
too
like,
much into that.
Yeah.
I'm not, well, maybe I'm reading too much into that, but it's not my
Because your
fault that the whole
perspective's
movie,
from 40 years later.
yeah, but the whole movie is painted in this like very misogynistic, dirty, like creepy,
all
perverted
these movies
way.
in that time period of the slashers are
Not
always
this bad.
like
Oh,
that.
I've seen much worse.
Really?
And a
I don't know. This
slasher?
one wasn't great in that element, but it wasn't as obnoxious as it could have
The
been.
primary primary storytelling in this is that Julie goes to sleep and then a guy sneaks in her window, knocks her out, and then takes
Yeah.
pictures of her naked.
I mean, it is a horror movie, but we got to talk about those pictures. He did something really impressive with those pictures.
Yeah.
He took 4 separate
I know.
Polaroids and pieced them together successfely. That is some fucking talent.
Dude, and if you look at that, I don't think I pulled the clip, but he's also in the picture. His shoulder is in the one
Oh, really?
picture. So it's clearly a frame from the movie, but yeah.
Like, honestly, that's some massive talent. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they just printed it
Polaroid?
8x10 and cut it in quarters, but
No, Chris, I'm with you. I think that's pretty gross, and his character is gross and is revealed to be very gross.
Yeah, but
by
it
the
doesn't
end.
come
But I
off
don't
as
think there's anything.
I'll give you. She's naked a lot. She's scantily clad a lot, but like
fully too, though.
I've seen way more misogynistic movies. Like she didn't completely lack agency as a character. I mean, there were a few times when she was a little dependent on men, but it wasn't nearly as bad as even some modern movies in that regard.
Maybe in its storytelling, but I just found like in its filmmaking, like every shot
Angles, yeah, I'll give you that.
was gross. Moments
From
in the
her
movie,
crotch
like
up.
groping.
This part is weird.
Weird groping shit.
Well,
He's
he's out-
having a breakdown, but here,
Here, let's go to the shower together.
Yeah, let's hit the
well,
shit.
Yes.
and not even that, but then did like,
Does that not help to
undressing her?
demonstrate what a villain he is?
yeah, he's got a one.
That carpet's
mind.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about the actual carpet, by the way.
But when, but they match the drapes, Ian. But I get like why this character is broken and like down,
Sure.
because her room is awful, and so far as like her bed, it's not even against the wall. Like it's like in the middle of the room because it's anchored.
Because she has that sloping ceiling, so
Yeah.
she can't go against.
I think you just ditched the headboard at that point, right? And you just
Ditch
pushed
the
it against
headboard.
the wall.
I'm on board with the
Yeah, but
commando
then
poster,
even if
but
it's
everything else.
against the
So
wall,
you wake up, you got to move slowly, so you don't like.
Yeah.
Immediately bang your head into the wall.
Yeah. Oh shit! Come back, camera.
The shower sequence, pointless and dumb.
Yeah.
I do think that was once a clear shower thing, but then because of smoking,
Yeah.
everybody smoked in the
possible.
80s.
It's possible.
And yeah, I don't know. It's super predictable. I guess my main problem is like if you would have taken this exact same movie, but intermixed the kill sequences and they were all fun and interesting and
Make them more interesting. That makes this an immediately better movie for sure.
100 times better. Because
Every single character is killed in the same way.
it's so one of those movies that you would be like, this is just a cheap, shitty slasher movie.
Yeah.
But it's so forgettable for me
Yes.
because there's nothing that sticks out at all. There's not even one interesting kill. The best scene, I think, or the best effect in the movie is when that girl gets the arrow through her hand.
That one's good. I will say the farming tool through Gary's arm is pretty good too.
Oh,
was
yeah,
pretty
that
good.
one's pretty good.
But neither of those were the kills.
Why does he,
No.
once he's revealed to be the killer, which was obvious, why does he take the
minute
time
10.
to put the stocking on his face and then chase after her?
I don't, because it's just.
Did he put it back on after we knew?
Yeah,
For sure? Okay.
I'm
This-
pretty sure.
This
Did
movie.
she
do-
know? I don't know.
I mean, it
don't
makes
remember.
sense if you're
not.
like,
maybe it's right.
we filmed this movie in a day or two because it feels like a script that was like, all right, well, we got something. There's a premise here, and then like we
Right.
got.
Right.
This is the spot where we're gonna kind of
Let's just
do something
fill
like
it
this.
out, yeah.
All right, let's go.
If you filmed this in even 2 days, that I'm actually way more impressed
Yeah.
by this movie.
I would agree.
I don't know that. I still don't know that I believe it though.
I don't believe it.
Especially with
I-
film cameras. Get the fuck out of here. You're not
I would
moving the
believe-
film camera around that much in a day.
I would believe that they filmed all of Tiny Tim's scenes in one day.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems
but
fair
one-
to
Yeah, I
me
could
too.
see that.
The one scene they absolutely rushed was in the bank, where they're filming a scene behind the teller's head, and the
Oh,
teller
that's weird.
the teller talks to two people. So she's like the cornerstone of the scene, and she's talking to Jill, and then she turns to the person at the end and talks to her, and we never see anything but the back of her head. I'm like, yeah, you found the only spot in that tiny cramped room where you
That
could
they
fit
could
the
actually
camera.
fit a camera. Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, look at some of these shots. Like, what is this? This is fucking awful.
Yeah, it's okay. It's what it is.
It is what it is.
I think they're
but
trying to
it's not
capture like the challenge of climbing the
Climb
thing,
up
and it's
there.
cramped and it's tight. I think it sells it.
good. Mhm, yes.
I mean,
Oh, his face
that
is so punchable though.
the way this scene was filmed is not the problem with the movie.
No, you're right. You're right about that.
It's the story. The story is the biggest problem. Beyond the misogyny,
Yeah.
it's the story. Is
If I-
pointless.
if I
and
didn't-
stupid.
I just never understood why people were doing things half the time.
That's a typical slasher thing for me. I think I'm
It
just not a
is.
big fan
It
of
is.
slashers. It's usually some very light, thin plot to try
Yeah.
to come with a reason. why
Usually there's
somebody
at least
killing
one
random people.
character who has like a really distinct through line, and everybody else's story just kind of
Yeah.
revolves around that. And,
I
and
think
those
she's
motivations
kind of
don't make
that
sense.
Character
She's-
in a sense,
She's
but-
supposed to be, but like I think sometimes whether or not she's upset about something just depends on whether or not it moves the story forward, not whether it makes any sense for a character motivation.
Right.
You know, that's how she gets so easily distractible. Oh my God, my parents! I'm worried about my parents. Wait a minute, why isn't Gary back? And then somebody distracts her from Gary, and all of a sudden she's fine again.
True. But for me, like so a slasher movie is like comfort food, and it's like not, you know what you're gonna get. However, the whole fun in a slasher movie is like, what kind of cool kill sequence are we gonna get?
Mhm.
This movie doesn't have that.
Yeah, I'd forgive a lot more if it had a bunch of cool kills.
and it doesn't have like an interesting villain at all. Sometimes they can be like, Jason, Freddy, and stuff like they're interesting. The Art the Clown, like he's
But-
cool, even
The villain wasn't that cool in the first Jason movie.
True.
You know what I mean?
In the first Jason movie, yeah.
First Jason.
But there's cool kills in that movie, and it's got Kevin Bacon, so
Yeah.
it can't be bad.
Was he in the first one? Or was he in the
he
third
gets an
one?
arrow through the neck.
Okay.
I think
Oh.
it's an arrow.
It's been a while since I've seen the early ones.
They shoot Tiny Tim because they're like, that song is awful, Tiny Tim. Shut the fuck up. And then
You're
she
outta
shoots
here.
him, and he's like, oh, right
He
through
really
the
does
stomach.
look like a fat Weird Al there with the
Yeah,
hair and
he's-
everything.
Cooper.
I'm just
Weird Al
ready
Cooper.
for him to grab a giant hammer and crush a watermelon.
They could have done something like with this whole bloodletting harvesting kind of thing, because they do have what seems like a whole farm set available to them with some
Right.
interesting rooms, like this pig bloodletting room, whatever this is cool.
Yeah, that's a scene you don't have if you only shot this in one day.
Yeah, I agree. Because look at where that camera was. Look at how many different angles that is. There's no
Yeah.
way they did this in one day. There's a light too, so like all that's like 3 hours of work right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're rushing, it's like,
Yeah.
and this is a film camera at the time too. So
Yeah.
I don't believe the one.
This would be tough to do digital in a day.
Yeah, I agree.
But
And you'd have to like scout out everything ahead of time
Mhm.
and know
this
your
was
shots.
this was a
Know
this was a
exactly what you're
studio
going to
set.
do.
Mhm.
And I
There's
did like.
multiple places in Wisconsin.
I like the scene where the bad guy pretends to be Jim Carrey. Dude, he looked just like him there for a second when he's like, you know what I mean? That was like a Jim Carrey type thing. We can talk about the bat to the head. There's a sequence where a guy gets a bat to the head, and it's very clear there's something weird about it and off. And if you slow it down, you'll see why. Here we go.
A blood pack?
Blood pack, and they like skip a frame because they try and just like line them up and throw the blood pack on.
Yeah.
And you
didn't
can feel
really-
the
I
jerking motion.
think I could kind of tell that even on the original first playthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was
And
a
Scott
watermelon.
wasn't even Scott. Was that the character, the boyfriend name?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that hot.
Scotty wasn't that hot. Yeah, Scotty
No,
doesn't know
they kept
that stuff.
talking about him like he was,
but he had a
the next
Mercedes.
Kevin Bacon or something. Yeah.
He was
Then you
turkey
had
bacon.
okay, so we had that whole paintball section, which is just complete filler,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid.
or redneck with like a fucking Southern flag thing on it.
Yeah,
What the hell's that
Confederate.
called? Confederate flag. It's just
In
like
Wisconsin.
burning time. No reason, because the story never goes
It was
anywhere.
to get her to town because
Yeah,
give her a
that's
ride.
part of it. Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had something positive to say about this thing, but I really have nothing. I really did not enjoy this movie.
I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy it because, again, it wasn't like a really bad movie, but it's just forgettable. Like, ask me about this in 3 days. I'd be like, I don't know. There was a clown and a girl and, I don't know, some boy who wanted to do her but couldn't. And I won't remember any details.
Well, you know
He
what?
walks that off pretty quickly, though. That's a significant bleed.
He walked.
Yeah.
That would kill you. There's an artery in there. For
They never
sure.
just pretended it didn't happen, though. Like, he was often holding
Right.
his arm weird. Yeah, sure, he'd probably bleed out and die, but
I will say I'm not a fan of Tiny Tim, but at the time,
would have been way better
maybe it
with
would have
Tiny
been
Tim
unique and
Thomerson.
interesting. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
I just think maybe it would have been interesting to have him in this movie, and that would have been like, oh shit, this guy who's never done anything like. It's like when Kevin James and other people did like horror movies and stuff, where it's
Mhm.
like this is a complete change on their character, because
Yeah.
he is a lot of times coming off as like a creepy kind of what you're supposed to think is the killer. So that's where your mind goes, and if that's like different than what you envision him as, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? What do we think about the end with the stinger?
Who cares? Why bother?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess that was another comparison I made to Friday the 13th. It's like, well, that's dumb. Who cares? What's he going to do? Like chase her back to the big city? I don't care.
Right.
I don't want to see that. But I guess you look at Friday the 13th and like, well, what are we going to do? See this old lady's dead corpse chase people around? But that's not the direction it went. So
No, and
maybe-
they made Jason interesting. Yeah.
maybe there's room if this had any, legs back in the 80s, maybe there is something to be done with the sequel. I don't know. Who cares? Not worth speculating any harder on.
I'm figuring with the little budget on this, the fact they got Tiny Tim kind of on just a whim and got lucky to get him. That's
Lucky?
really the only interesting thing about this is they had this weird guy
Okay,
Mhm.
if you here's my question to y'all.
get
then.
shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, here's my question. You
Yeah.
get a chance you get the rights, you get to make Blood Harvest remake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're gonna do some really off the wall casting. You're not getting some big actor. You're not getting anybody with really acting experience. Like, what is your off the wall casting in the Tiny Tim role?
They have to be alive.
Okay. So you
No,
want
I
like
don't
a
know.
creepy clown like person is what we're thinking of?
You feel free to reimagine the role. It's got to be weird. It's got to be different. It can't just be, oh yeah, I'm the guy's brother and I wear blue jeans and I also am concerned about farmers. Like, give me some. Like, you can do the clown thing or you can give me a different take. It's got to be weird though. Got to be off the wall.
And it can't be Weird Al.
Why can't
mean-
it be?
I mean, you know who I'm going to go with. Everybody knows who I'm going to go with.
You're gonna
You're
go
gonna
with
go-
Austin Green.
No, I'm going to go with Richard fucking Grieco as creepy
God.
creepy clown.
That
Or
would be just sleazy.
we could just throw in Guy Pearce because he seems down on his luck. You know what I mean?
I think we use Spiv.
Dude, Blood Harvest is a great name. You could still do something with the farming. They're like giving blood to something in their
Yeah.
farm.
But it's
But,
just
and that would have
something
made more
interesting.
sense. Like they're losing their farm, so they need this blood to harvest to sacrifice.
Yeah,
we
save
got
the
to
farm.
get a good
something.
crop
That's-
this year to save the farm, and then the farm
Yeah.
starts like bleeding,
What I
and
actually
it
do if I'm
becomes like. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
what I would actually do if I was gonna like start with the same setup. You got the farmers and the auction at the beginning. You make this a siege movie. Like this is just VFW, but on a farm, and the banker's daughter, and all these farmers coming in. They've all been doing drugs because their town's falling apart anyway, and who cares? Giving up, drinking, doing drugs. Somebody gave them some bad drugs, and it's just a siege movie, and she's just killing them in interesting way. Now I get they didn't have that
Using
budget.
farming
but
implements.
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
A harvester.
Hell yes. She's gonna straight up pull up that lawnmower and just rape down a couple dozen of them.
There are not enough siege movies.
I mean, there's plenty.
They are fun though.
Are there plenty? I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot out there. Under
Assault on Precinct
Siege.
13.
Under Siege is not a siege movie.
No, I know.
Assault on Precinct 13 is what I think of, and then
Yeah. VFW is my
VFW.
favorite.
VFW was good. I don't know what else there is.
Is there
maybe-
one called The Siege or something like that?
I mean,
yeah, but that's not a siege movie. That's like Bruce Willis and other people.
I'm thinking of
I mean,
that movie then.
a fair number of zombie movies have at least a siege scene in
Yeah,
there. It's
that's
fully a
right.
siege movie. Like
Yeah.
what's the damn it, what's the one from New Zealand? One of the best movies ever made.
Best movies ever made.
Zombie movie.
Dead Alive?
Dead
Dead
Alive.
Alive.
Like that's kind of a siege scene at the end when he's got the
yeah.
lawnmower.
But now we need a farming version.
All right. Oh, here's our lead character, Jill.
Yeah.
And
She wasn't
was
bad.
like, oh, she was terrible. She
It was written. It was written
I like
terrible.
Steve Stacy.
But she's
It was-
supposed
Why?
It was written terrible.
to be a dumb
Oh, her
80s
performance
kid.
was terrible.
I mean-
yeah.
Her performance didn't elevate it, but she wasn't terrible.
No, she was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah,
She's so whiny.
she certainly. The character was
Yeah.
written whiny. I
Right.
feel like.
I agree. I think she
I don't know.
did.
I don't know that there's something she could have done with it. I don't know that there's another
I mean-
actress she could have put in there that would have made it more interesting
Let's watch this scene.
without rewriting it.
Oh my God, my poor Jill. I've done this to you. It's all right.
That felt very much like some of the Italian movies we've seen from the early 80s.
Yeah,
It's a shitty
More like
bucket of
70s.
melted Italian ice, and she's got to try and house. See, like that's
I would be
no.
surprised if they
Right.
considered Italian movies a inspiration for this.
Yeah,
But-
why are you down in the corner like
I
a
don't
creeper.
know.
I don't know. Like, I don't know that she could have performed that scene better. Like, it was just
No, that wasn't
Not-
on her. That was
yeah.
terrible writing. Yeah, it doesn't
Right.
make any
the
sense.
actress was fine.
Sure.
And even all the other actors, for the most part, were fine. Like Tiny Tim did exactly what Tiny Tim was asked to do.
He
You
did.
know what I mean?
He showed
I
up.
think
I
he
just hated
made
it,
stuff
but
up
he
on
showed
this.
up. It's yeah.
Gary's
I think-
character was written poorly, but I don't think I don't think you substitute in a better actor and it's all of a sudden a better movie.
No.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I almost
Script
wish
is
they
weak.
were worst actors. If it was just like, we gathered our 6 buddies and like fucking made a stupid ass movie, it'd be like funnier to me.
We've done that.
Yeah. Work Sucks was great. Or terrible. I'm not sure which.
It's a little bit of both.
Maybe both.
Stop
All right.
eating my sesame cake.
All right. Anything else with the
And
blood
funny
harvest?
lines are stolen from other things. It's great. I got nothing.
No.
The what now? What was the question?
Anything else? Anything else?
Oh, no.
All right. Any alternate titles?
Sean has
Sean
some.
has them.
I know Sean has them.
Bloodletting.
I haven't been making those.
Sean says Country Creeper. Tiptoe through the two tits and blood
Tiptoe through her tooth.
harbreast. Blood harbreast. Harbreast.
That was very awkward when he's all like nuzzling up.
It's just annoying. He's stupid. And it was always like, I guess I know what he's gonna do. And it's like, why are we doing this? Like, I know why we're
Dude,
doing this,
these
but I
people
don't.
got naked for this movie.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
like
but-
out there forever now.
Right.
I am a red-blooded straight
Sure.
man, And I enjoy a naked woman like the rest of them, but I
but not
don't
like that.
understand why we're cloaking it in dirty molestation and rape. I don't enjoy it then. It's like, this is just, I don't want to watch. It's fucking
That's what they're
gross.
going for. They're trying to make you uncomfortable.
And like sometimes
I don't think they are. I think this
sometimes
is
you
being
can
perverted.
use those things to really advance a character's story or their motivations,
Sure.
but it's just confusing half the time. Like when he, like after the shower, he like molests her in the shower, then lays her out on the bed, sucks on her titty a little bit, then like covers her up and then goes and sits down and then decides he's
and
going to
then comes back.
I thought we all agreed to
like,
not
what are we
tell-
doing here?
Tell everybody
Like
about
the
Chris's
flow.
last date.
Just like the flow of that scene is so bizarre.
We all agreed to not tell everybody about Chris's last date. Okay, you're not supposed to go there.
I remember.
Well,
when he used to
yeah,
suck on my
I
titty.
didn't want to tell you Chris did that to me, but
All right. Well, now that we've painted Chris as a weird sex pervert, I feel like it is time.
no, it happened to you. You didn't do it.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's move on. Aaron, would you recommend The Blood Harvest?
I would not. It's not for me. Again, as usual, I'm not a huge fan of slasher movies, and this one does nothing really new or unique other than have Tiny Tim, who is just kind of creepy.
Rebecca.
No, it's just not good.
Ian.
Yeah, I think I definitely have a lot of love for slasher movies in the past. I think I'm kind of just over it as a whole genre. So I have to temper that. Like I have to put myself in my head when I was like 20. Would I have loved this movie? I think even then the answer is no. I don't think I can recommend this one.
I mean, you did recommend that other movie. That
So
shall
you
remain
can't
nameless.
you can't argue that Hard Rock Zombies wasn't interesting. You might not like it. I'm not going to just try to convince you to like it. I'm over it. But like it's fucking zombie Hitler shows up, man. That's a strange ass movie.
I mean, it's yeah.
That movie's way more interesting than this one.
Maybe.
Even if you don't like it.
It's still really bad though.
It has problematic elements too, I will grant you. But like it's going for it, you know? It is like they're going all out.
You're describing
this movie.
podcast.
Well, yeah. But this movie is more like our podcast where it's like nothing interesting is happening.
and some guy named Gary is suckling on some titties.
Yeah.
Like, when the time this came out, I get it. Like, young boys discovering themselves or desperate for content that shows the female body. I get that. I'm not one of those guys like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different
we're
time.
older too.
We're older, and it's like, it's gross. This whole thing is gross. And you didn't sell me on an interesting villain, and you didn't sell me on an interesting kills. And the story it's an okay premise, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
like
I'm
the
picturing
most
you,
interesting parts just ended up being red herrings for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I really did not like this movie. I will put it out there. What are we thinking about 3-year ban?
For
Dave?
Dava?
Ban.
No.
Nah.
3-year.
This movie's not
ban.
nearly bad enough for a ban.
Okay. Aaron, what do you think?
I don't think we're banning David for this.
Rebecca?
No.
I love Dava. I would have never thought they would do this to me.
Yeah.
But they did.
I don't think David meant to do anything to you. I think
David tried to give us something we liked, and we
Right.
we shot him down. This was their revenge.
Yep.
Man.
Well earned.
So
Earned
they gave us
revenge.
this. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
You want to complain about
Fine.
watching a good movie? Here you go, you assholes. You get to
Here,
watch this.
take this.
Okay?
We got what we deserved, so,
Right. So-
that's on
All
us.
right. Let's move on now and play a game. So here we go.
Game time, baby.
Your theories are the worst kind of puppets, right? Your methods are sloppy and your conclusions are highly impressive. Shall we play?
All right. We're going to go into some farm facts as farming was kind of a catalyst for some of the stuff happening in this movie.
Just a red herring. Like communism.
What percentage of Americans believe that brown
Oh,
cows
no.
produce chocolate milk?
sweet baby
I don't want
Christ,
to know the
Rebecca.
answer to that question.
How many
Children or
Trump
adults?
voters?
No. I always have to wonder, like, I've heard some of these stats where I don't remember the number. I'm not going to get the answer, but like
14%.
do people like, are people just giving like pollsters or whoever's asking these questions the rub? Like, they're just fucking with them.
Maybe.
That's good.
I don't know. I'm going to go 30%. I don't know. That's too low, probably.
12.
Only 7%.
Okay, that's better than I thought.
Still way too high.
Yeah. It's still, yeah.
Unless we're
but-
polling like 5-year-olds.
I think I'd actually believe that number. I've heard crazier statistics on Facebook, probably though.
How many feet is the longest recorded chicken flight?
Damn it! I have a coworker who would know the answer to this off the top of his head.
82 feet.
100%.
If a chicken,
We're talking feet.
I think like 15
Not
feet.
percentage.
Like, I don't think that.
No, but they can glide a little bit. Like, not glide, but they can hop and.
They can fall with style.
Mhm.
Are we talking completely level surface? Are we talking any kind of jumping off a barn roof or anything?
No.
He
Like,
jumped out of an
Level
airplane.
surface. I gotta know the experimental
26,000
parameters
feet.
here.
Yeah.
Where are
It's
these chicken Olympics happening? I want to go to this.
They also had little tiny paragliders.
Yeah. A wingsuit on them.
Yeah.
82 is my answer. I don't know.
I'll go 12.
12
15.
feet? I've seen it
Yeah.
go further than 12 feet.
It is 301.5 feet.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
I
impressive.
like how this picture's shot from an angle to make it look like it's an eagle soaring through the sky at
Yeah.
3,000
That's
feet in the
AI
air.
generated.
Looks
Yeah.
paper
Everything
mache.
else.
It does look like
Yeah.
paper mache.
What percent of U.S. farms are family run versus corporate run?
Now,
1.
Yeah, not good.
32%
5%. The corporations have been intentionally driving them out.
sucks.
Does.
This was surprising. 99% are still
Really?
owned by families.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Interesting.
Yeah. My family goes back 17 generations, and now we here at Rupert Conglomerate Industries own the largest family farm in the United States.
You're right. The Monsantos own 99% of family
exactly.
farms.
How fast can a pig run a mile?
Ooh, I go to pig
Trick
races. I used to go to
question.
pig races all the time.
And
Freddie Hill Farms used to do pig races. It was great.
Country Barn does pig races.
I don't
They
think
used
they
to-
run a mile.
They used to race for Oreos, but they stopped doing them like
6
a few years
minutes.
ago. Pig
A
run
pig
a mile.
run a mile.
5 minutes.
I don't think a pig will run a mile.
So like I could probably do a 12-minute mile. So I'm
You
going.
could.
I'm
You could
going.
do a
I'm going.
12
I'm going 8.5 minutes.
You're slower than a pig.
Dude,
Yes,
No.
probably.
Yeah, but that's
Especially that little pig. That little pig's got speed.
That
man.
pig
Pig's gonna
is
be
fast.
fast.
It's got
He's
4
flying.
legs there. It's
We're
If, you, if,
talking
you're, if you're thinking of the big giant fat pig,
Yeah.
sure, but like there are some faster. Like there's different breeds of pig. That
Well, I
pig.
think
Can,
that-
I've seen pigs move.
I think that's an important question for this question. Then, though, what kind of pig are we talking about? Are we talking about like an African swallowtail pig, or are we talking about
Like Hofstadter pigs, or
what kind of pig are we
yeah.
talking about here?
This pig.
This
that pig. I'm bringing my answer down. I'm
They're
saying.
pretty
I'm
quick
saying.
little things.
I'm saying 4 minutes. I'm going 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Whoa.
Not
Yeah.
a fucking cheetah.
Is it a world record like 3 point something for a
I don't
human?
know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 17 minutes.
5.
If you could even get him to run that far.
A
go
pig can
5.
run a mile in 7 minutes.
Shit, he's
Okay.
fast.
Yeah, look at him go.
I couldn't do that in my best of shape days.
How many miles does a hive of bees travel in total to produce 1 pound of honey?
7.
Hive bees travel until to produce a pound of honey. Wow. If we're getting to my wheel, I've got a bee themed movie on my wheel, so this is exciting. I don't know the answer to this
Or a
question.
bee
though.
movie.
I'm
What's
going
the
with.
deal with all this honey?
I'm going with 750.
Miles to produce a pound of honey. I mean, you get a lot of honey out of those honeycombs, though.
How much
How
work do
far
they got to put in to get there?
travel? How many miles a beehive travel? 35 miles.
Oh, way too low. 55,000 total miles.
How much shit can a bee
Wait, we're
carry?
talking
Come
about
on, man.
each bee individually carrying things?
No, total. The hive goes
Okay.
out altogether 55,000 miles.
Okay,
to
that's
get
believable
enough
though.
to
Each little
make-
bee bringing back a tiny bit of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it is.
I was thinking more like how much territory do they have to cover to be able to generate that much?
No, it's just like the back and forth. Yeah. A farm produces enough for how many people in a year?
Depends on the
Like-
farm.
So this includes food and fiber, like clothing,
Okay.
cotton, that kind of stuff.
I feel like this question's not specific enough.
An
Farms are
average
all different
farm?
sizes. We're saying
Average
average
farm?
farm?
On average, yeah.
Like a Lancaster
Okay.
County farm, or are we talking
Yeah.
like
One.
And we're talking like
no way more
everything
than
you
that.
need, not just like just your corn supplement.
Like
I don't know.
All these fucking
15,000.
questions about you guys.
Yeah, I got no idea. Oh, 750 again.
I don't even know. What does it mean? Like, what? Whatever.
You just
What is
complain
this
about how many
farm-
questions we're asking,
All right.
Chris.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. 17.
17. Eat a
they
dick.
produce enough for 165 people.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. They said by 2050, farms need to increase production 70% in order to
Or
meet the needs of the population.
I wonder if
me
that's
out.
accounting for the fact that we're building housing subdivisions on all the
let's
farms.
have more farms, then we don't
Yeah.
need them
Yeah.
to be hyper productive
What percent of farmers are women?
by
I bet
choice.
this number. I bet this number's a lot higher than people think.
Yeah, I
But I
bet
don't know
it's
the answer.
42%.
I like that number. I like
One.
that number.
It is 36%. So
That's
about a
pretty
third.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
She looks like she's having fun.
Well, and I think they said 56% of farms have a woman as a decision maker. So not necessarily like
Okay.
the only farmer there, but like
Yeah.
they're part of running
The brains of the
farm.
operation.
I gotta tell you, in my life as a 38-year-old man, every woman I know, way smarter than me. Like way
Wow,
better at
That's
making
not a hard
decisions.
bar to clear.
I know. So I'm on board.
What's the average age of farmers?
Oh, now.
Probably old, probably too old.
I think there's younger people trying to get into it, making like small farms, like a farm they can live
A
off
homestead
of.
kind of thing.
Homestead type of
Yeah.
farm, yeah.
44?
I might say it's 50.
I'm gonna go 40, but also is that picture of Cameron?
That's
Looks
Cam.
kind of like him. Yeah.
The average age is 58.
Oh, that's not good.
That's concerning.
But if you change it to organic farms, it drops down to 52.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Still
that makes
old.
sense. Right.
And
We need to
that's
start
it.
a farm.
There's some facts about farms.
Well, farm it up. I think working on a farm would be very satisfying.
It's a hard job though, without the
Mhm.
technology and stuff. And everything's all about getting timing right, and you're at the mercy of the environment, drought.
I agree. It is
It's a lot
hard.
of
but-
stress.
Conditions.
But I still
Got
feel
those
like
damn super
I don't
fast
know.
pigs running around.
You're like feeding animals or doing shit. Like your body and your mind are both.
You're accomplishing
tired.
something.
Yeah, you're accomplishing something that you are
That's
physically
something that
doing.
does
Well, and
something
imagine
useful.
farming today versus farming 100 years ago.
Kids
or
play a lot of cool
200 years
machines.
ago. Like you
Yeah.
have so much more stuff to help you farm.
Yeah.
If you can
Now
afford
than
it
just-
though.
Right.
But then you have the flip side of like Ian said with Monsanto, like you can't replant your seeds. Like you have to buy them from them because they're genetically modified, or they'll
Mhm.
sue you into oblivion. Like this has gotten so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It sounds really challenging.
Got a coworker who grew up on a farm, and he still raises chickens in his backyard. And he recently slaughtered a bunch and sold them off. I bought one. Juiciest fucking chicken I've ever had in my life.
Free
It's
range.
incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. It's,
Mhm.
like this chicken probably had a name for all I know.
Yeah. Living
His
his
name
life.
was delicious.
Yeah.
All right,
Could
time
you
to
fly
move on
300 feet?
and do some listener feedback. Here we go.
I suggest we read some listener feedback, sir.
Make it so, number one.
Miss, you tiny little
email. You precious little email. Where are you?
All right, last week we watched The Divine Enforcer. First up, we got Mike D saying, seen a review about Stalked by My Doctor about 2 weeks ago. There are like 5 movies total, and they look perfect for bad movie night.
All righty.
Nice.
Dude.
Is this something you guys are going to do after
I wanna
Witchcraft
do
is
some-
done?
I would like to do some Lifetime. Yeah, I would like to just do some. That's good.
That's a great name.
I'd like to do some Lifetime originals or
Mhm.
whatever those. Are they all Lifetime? Like, was Psycho Storm Chaser, was that Lifetime?
That was Lifetime.
That was
wasn't it?
Lifetime.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to do stuff like that.
Betty Broderick was fun.
Yeah.
You have to get my wife to come on the show if you guys do that.
Put her on.
Jesse Maggers says, thanks for watching my movie. I enjoyed the show.
Hell yeah.
You got it. Jinx9LV205 says, and the final votes are in. Rebecca wins best background because you can't really see it to know if it's good. Next is Lindsay because of Kurt Russell, and third is Chris showing off his guitars. That is so. That least effort to
She
Lindsay
wins
puts in
by
more
turning
effort.
the filter up to the highest setting
And
having an empty fish tank.
I think
Yes.
it's
Back for
like I
years.
know what that basement looks like in person, but the fish tank is evocative. There's something also to the other side, which I know what it is.
I think
But
you should put
it looks empty. The bar back there, yeah.
I think you should put the kid in the fish tank one time just to like mess with people. Like, don't even acknowledge it. Nobody say anything.
Just put the puppy in there.
Yeah.
In there. Oh, yeah.
Aaron, I like when you do the history hole, but then I don't like when you just sit in the void like a Queen album cover. All right. Marilyn Knepper says, movie was fun. Not as sleazy as New Nuns with Big Guns. The music had an exorcist feeling to it. Alternate title, The Holy Hammer. Tagline, The Father, the Son, and a kick to the head. There you go. Taylor Ann says, alternate title, The Divine Intervention of a Psychopathic Angel. No, Taylor Ann, that is a more interesting title.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Lilienthal goes on a large rant about season 7 of Dexter being the best season, which is just madness. Why are you making fun? Yeah,
that is the least favorite season that I saw of Dexter.
Yes.
And why are you making fun
bad.
of Michael C. Hall's wig when that scene where they have Jennifer Carpenter stand on her knees and pretend to be a 10-year-old exists? I don't remember that scene.
Oh, she's so. Yeah.
I think it's because there's many scenes with Michael C. Hall with that stupid wig on. Chris Drew says, I've seen Monster Squad a few times in the past. It's not very good. Pretty forgettable. The movie you guys had just talked about and looked kind of interesting. Might check it out. It was okay. It was fun. Watch
Divine Enforcer?
Oh, Divine Enforcer was way better than this.
Yeah.
Matthew Pfeiffer says,
you guys never have me on for the good movies.
Sensing a theme here.
You're a harbinger. Ian. Matthew Pfeiffer says, Chris, you are a disorganized, terrible showrunner. You'll never change, you beautiful bastard.
Hey, you didn't have any clips pulled for this show.
They made it work.
That was before the show started, for one. I used to try really hard, and then I gave up when there was no reason to try really hard, okay? And now I still do things that take effort, but most of the time, yeah, I'm pretty low effort. All right. That's all for this, like, that they commented on last week's episode. However, we got a comment about Race with the Devil, that podcast we did a long time ago, which, by the way, that is
2 years ago.
That is a podcast that constantly gets comments on YouTube, like, this ain't a bad movie. You guys are idiots. I'm like, we all fucking like that movie. Yeah.
We love that movie.
Did you
It won
listen?
some awards that year.
Yeah. But this is like Alex Jones level
Oh, geez.
bullshit.
Oh, God.
And it's all in caps. Just
You turned
it's all,
my caravan gay.
We're going to get Lindsay to make a movie about this comment.
This is all capitalized. Here we go. There is a lot of truth to this movie. I'm halfway done with my book. Eventually, I will finish it, and what you will read that happened here in New York City 31 years ago will blow your mind and reinforce this movie. Satan does control the world, and it controls law enforcement. the courts, corrections, banks, and so many other things. The world is saturated with the Satan worshippers. God's reason for allowing Satan and the legions of angels to roam the earth is to test mankind. It is to weave out the good from the bad and the loyal from disloyal. God made a lot of room down below in hell for them.
So, the cool thing about that is if you just choose not to believe that fairy tale bullshit, it doesn't affect you.
Dude, if you're
Until they start making laws.
If you are at that level and you're leaving crazy comments on random ass YouTube channels, you need to just go seek help. Yeah, that is some derangement going on there.
Unfortunately, they'll never hear your comment.
It's funny to read because it's nonsense, but it also then I start to feel bad for making fun of it. Yeah.
That
I don't feel that bad about that.
Vote.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments on that video.
That person's getting voted into office in whatever bumblefuck state they're in.
Bumblefuck.
You guys are from this. You guys, it's from. This is other people's comments. You guys, it's from the 70s. You're bad movie critics.
Sure. I mean, no lies detected.
Both of those things can be true.
Otherwise.
Yeah, that's correct. You state facts.
What does it have to do with when it was released, though? The comment about us is fine.
I don't know. Anyways, if you want to get your comment on the show, go to the YouTube show, the YouTube video, leave a comment, or go to bad-movie-night.com, send us an email, or send us a voicemail. And we'll include it on next week's show. Hopefully, Spiv is back next week to take this over. I had to burp, sorry.
Somebody better tell him what day of the week it is.
Yeah.
Man, it's too late. He's probably not coming back.
He already didn't watch the movie for next week.
He accidentally said that comment too early. Yeah.
That's great.
Ian, do you have a wheel?
I do. I have no idea how to make it visible, though.
There's a button that says present at the bottom.
Ian knows how to present. Don't worry.
Share your screen, but make sure when you share your screen, you include that sweet, sweet audio so we can hear the wheel spin.
Okay. Present. Hit present. Now nothing's happening. Oh, here we go. Share screen. Some screens. I don't know what I'm doing here.
It's all right. We're waiting on you. No big deal. It's not like we're doing this live.
Spin the wheel.
Good thing we don't do any post editing. All right, here we go.
See it?
Yep.
So we got Tsunami.
Wait. What wheel spinning service is this?
I don't know, just Googled wheel service. You didn't tell me what wheel to use.
Shit.
It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I told you that.
It's like Twister.
Yeah, I got Tsunami. I got Jurassic Thunder. So we got a couple different Milko Davis movies here. We got Bloody Muscle, Bodybuilders from Hell.
What?
We got Caddy Hack, but I don't think we can get that movie yet. So we might have to eliminate that if it comes up. And
Soft
then we've
Matter
got
it's not a lifetime ban. It's a great movie.
Oh, you can even see the whole thing. It's cut off. Yeah, Soft Matter,
right.
aka
on the right. Yeah.
Oh, you see that? Okay, aka Ian's lifetime ban. I think some of the folks on here are gonna hate that shit.
It doesn't magically disappear because you chose to.
Man, I
don't know how this works. I don't watch the video version of the show.
I've seen half of these movies. All right, let's do it. Spin it.
I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a couple of them.
Ooh,
I want Tsunami.
Yep, I knew it. I told you this thing was rigged. Jurassic Thunder.
We can do Jurassic Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
I've never saw that.
Yeah, let's do it. Milko Davis movie. It's gonna be a good time.
Sounds fun.
Jurassic Thunder.
I don't know where to watch it. I did not do any. It does not matter that it's a sequel. You don't need to see the first one.
Okay.
There's no continuous characters, I don't think.
I gotta find the trailer.
I'm gonna watch The Sound of Thunder and pretend that's the first movie.
To be clear, I did zero research prior to putting any of this. I have no idea if any of these are findable.
Well, that's
Jurassic
how
Thunder
we do it too.
We're now at DEFCON 3.
There's a virus. It's turning all humans to something on imagination.
We're seeing a foreshadow of human extinction. But we may have a strategic military option.
Oh, man. This looks pretty fun.
That cigar falling out of that mouth, that's great.
I've seen this movie before. I will save my comments. That's what we're watching next week. Jurassic Thunder from 2020. I don't know where it is available. I do know it is available. If you have what I call the internet and Google, If you type in it'll come up somewhere. I think it's on Amazon to rent at least.
This show is long overdue for a Milko Davis movie.
Okay. It's not on Tubi, but it should be available somewhere.
It's on Vudu.
There you go. Who do you voodoo?
I do recommend this movie. I don't recommend using that wheel website. I did a test run on the wheel.
It worked. It wasn't that bad.
I ran the wheel 5 times. 4 times it came up Jurassic Thunder. And that made 5 out of 6. So.
Okay,
Shit.
Unless you're trying to rig it.
Yeah, that was rigged shit.
That's not the one. That's not the one I would have rigged it for if I was going to rig it.
I'm saying 3-year wheel ban at least. He's
Fair
not
enough.
completely banned, but 3-year wheel ban.
I won't do it. I won't do any more wheels.
All right, fair. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode on Blood Harvest. Join us next week when we talk about Jurassic Thunder. If you enjoyed the show, go to the iTunes, leave a review. That helps out the show. Consider joining the Patreon. That helps out the show as well. Also, you get your movie on the wheel in the Slack. Patreon.com/badmovienightshow. All right, we will catch you next time for Jurassic Thunder. Goodbye.
Bad Movie Night Podcast. We hope you enjoy listening to Bad Movie Night.